How did you break away from your controlling parents? Growing up, I thought every family worked like mine. No sleepovers, no social media, no dating. If I shut my door, my mom would pop in 5 minutes later like I'd hidden a body. My dad once grounded me for wearing a black hoodie to school. He said I looked like I was trying to be rebellious. I wasn't. I was cold. They always had my phone. At night, I had to leave it on the kitchen counter, face up. In college, they made me install a tracking app, and if I ever paused it, even for 5 minutes, they'd call like I'd been kidnapped. My mom once found my journal, read it cover to cover, and cried for a whole day because I wrote that I felt trapped. Said she didn't recognize me anymore. Said I was breaking her heart. By the time I graduated, I barely had anyone left. I wasn't allowed to date, couldn't move out, couldn't take a full-time job unless they approved it. They picked the field, the hours, even the interview outfits. I was 23 with a curfew like I was 13. Then I met someone, at work, totally by accident. He was sweet, patient, and most importantly, normal. We'd talk on breaks, walk out together after shifts, stuff that would have gotten me grounded as a teenager. I didn't tell my parents. I knew what they'd say. But after a few months, I told my mom. She didn't yell. She didn't even say anything. She just cried. Then called my dad. He came home early, sat across from me like I was on trial, and told me I was ruining my value. That no man would want a woman who disobeyed her parents. That I was humiliating them. I felt numb. That night, they went through my room. I woke up and knew instantly something was off. My phone had been moved. I checked. They had looked through everything. Messages, notes, even old photos. They found his name, looked him up, found where he lived, and drove to his house the next day. I only found out because he called me. His voice was shaky. He told me my parents had shown up and told him to back off or they'd call the cops. Said I wasn't stable, that I needed help. I stood in my kitchen just holding my phone, heart racing. It felt like a switch flipped. I packed a bag, walked into the living room, and told them I was done. My dad stood up, pointed at the door, and said if I left, I was cut off. No coming back. So I left. No plan. No money. Just a tote bag with a charger and some clothes. I called a coworker I barely knew and asked if I could crash for a few nights. She said yes. Those first days were awful. I kept checking over my shoulder. I couldn't sleep. I thought they'd break in, and they kept calling, over and over. Messages saying I was ruining my life, that I was brainwashed. They even showed up at my job, twice. My boss had to tell them to leave. I found a studio with 2 roommates and a lock on my door. I changed jobs, started therapy, blocked every number I could. It's been over a year and I still flinch when I hear certain ringtones. Leaving wasn't just leaving home. It was like breaking out of a prison I didn't know I was in. I used to think love looked like control. That saying yes meant respect. That staying quiet meant I was safe. But I was never safe. I was monitored, managed. Now I'm finally living. I still miss the idea of a family, but I don't miss them, and I don't regret walking away.